Hey everyone, for those who don't know, I'm the Geeky Panda. I am a tactical degenerate weeb out there, but I'm also one of the squad official content creators out there as well. And right now, the future of squad is coming into question because we got microtransactions and shenanigans going on right now, which basically pretty much explains the situation we have. Now, with the future of Squad looking more confusing than ever, the announcement of microtransactions coming to Squad in form of emotes have been heavily dividing the community. On top of that, we don't even know what's going to be coming out for the game. The roadmap is heavily outdated. They did mention future updates coming out, but other than that, we really literally don't know what's going to happen next. It's kind of a bit unknown. Granted, we get like bits and pieces here and there and stuff like that, but that's really it. So the question has to be asked: if they start doing microtransactions with emotes, what else are they going to do? And what is the future content that we can expect from this game? The future is pretty unknown with the game right now. Squad is the spiritual successor to one of the most popular mods to Battlefield 2 called Project Reality, with Squad starting in early access to Steam back in 2015 with a successful Kickstarter campaign, officially releasing version 1.0 in September 2020, and now we are here in 2023. Now, granted, we had a lot of things happen and shenanigans that happened now until then, including we had a CEO change, some people came and went, all that dandy stuff, controversies, blah blah blah. The first announcement of the new year in 2023, OWI made is okay, we're talking about updates. Version 4.2 will be coming out soon, with version 4.27 being a game engine update. But sadly, it was literally a footnote. Like, it was just literally like a small thing just to get it out of the way, because majority of the article was talking about monetization in Squad. OWI has made the announcement that emotes will be arriving in Squad in form of monetization, with a free emo pack available to all Squad players as thanks, and then paid ones available. As we look into the future, we see a long, healthy life for Squad. It has a large and dedicated player base. We have plans for more updates to support the game beyond 2023. While many of these planned updates will be free, we also realize the way to continue to fund development of Squad. Paid content like emotes is one such way to help fund the development and continue to work on improving the game. Rest assured, we are continuing to work on free updates for Squad. Now, this original article has caused basically a huge division within the community. Like, they were freaking out, a lot of shenanigans going on. Now, on one hand, they did say that, hey, these emotes, coming out will be grounded and all that stuff, but a lot of other people are saying, like, what's stopping them from releasing these more wacky emotes? What's stopping them from, going, like, oh, like, what's stopping them from, instead of just emotes, like, what about, factions or maps, basically, essentially creating, paid DLC? So OWI had to release another article talking more in depth about the whole emotes and microtransactions, which, they did say they want these emotes to not break immersion. Like, we wish to preserve the spirit of Squad and protect the immersion that each of you seek in the cooperative experience. They did point out that there will be 2 packs coming out for $3.99 each if you want to buy them, but again, the community is heavily divided because, part of it's like, hey, it's not that bad, while the other part is this could be the start of a long row that just goes off the rails even more. Which leads to my first question: if they start doing microtransactions with emotes, what else will they do? OWI has stated that emotes is one such way to help fund the development. So in turn, can we expect these emotes won't be the end of it? Granted, there are stuff that I find, would be like within immersion and, within squads, reality of, having certain weapon skins, vehicle camos, and different BDUs or gear setup for specific factions. That I could agree on. Something like what Hell Let Loose did. You can buy these skin packs for your specific factions. That, hey, yeah, it works within what the realm of the game is going for. It's there. These different get-ups and setups. But would it stop it with that? Will we see stuff like, hey, do you want a new faction? It's going to cost it. Do you want this new map? It's going to cost you. Or are we going to start seeing some more stuff that's going to be breaking immersions like emote dances? And I'm going to say this. If OWI has, eventually releases an emote dance for Squad, I guarantee you the community is basically going to be extremely pissed off here. Like, it's going to be like the nail in the coffin, confirming like, oh, this is now what it's going to become. Basically, it's going to be turned into like a Fortnite, basically. The question that I also have to ask is, if the emote packs aren't selling well, like if they are not making enough money for OWI, will OWI become more aggressive in their microtransactions, which is going to piss off the community even more and cause more division? And before you know it, it's going to be a never-ending cycle. The microtransaction comes out, community gets pissed off and divided. It doesn't sell well, so OWI in turn has to create something else to sell, and if that doesn't do well, you get to see what's going on here. It's basically a never-ending circle, which leads to my next question. What about the future content that can we expect here? As of right now, Squad's website still has the heavily outdated roadmap with features on it that are already been released, and yet, there's still some of it on there that is yet to come, including Commander Resource Point System, the Territory Control, Game Mode Overhaul, Insurgency Mode Overhaul, Fast Rope, and more. But we still have no word on when these will even be implemented. The roadmap itself, technically, if we're just going off that, hasn't been updated since February 2021. And then a Trello board, which was made to keep the community, like in the know of what's going on, what's being planned, what's currently being worked on. They really haven't updated it since October 2021. Granted, there was a post in June, 20th, 2022, but that was just talking about the Steam Summer Sale, so that really doesn't count. So other than that, we really don't know what's going to happen for future content. To think, in the year 2023, the first thing they could announce is, hey, guys, here's the first announcement. First off, thank you so much for playing the game, but here's an up-to-date roadmap. Here's all this content that's planning to come out. Here, the Trello boards have been updated, and hey, we are doing some microtransactions in the future, but, you're going to get all this first, all this free content, all this content that we've been working on. They could have softened the blow with that, but literally the first thing they said was, hey, microtransactions. And again, I can understand why the community is so pissed off. The thing is, too, it's like Project Reality mod had a lot of things going for it. That's what, Squad is essentially the spiritual successor to Project Reality. Now, granted, there are some things in Squad that, that is, taken from Project Reality, but in turn it pales into comparison what Project Reality has to offer, including different eras to fight in, World War II, Vietnam, different factions, more maps, cast helicopters, you have, cast and cav jets flying around. It's really an more of an in-depth experience with more content to have and more things to do. Now, they did say, that things will eventually come out with cast helicopters, do vehicles like the T-80 and more, but that's really it. The new year was going to be the perfect time to buckle down and to give the community a heads up on the future plans for the game as far as content goes on the roadmap, but that didn't, that's what didn't happen, and I think that's one of the things that greatly pissed off the community here. Now, some people say, there's no word of official content coming to Squad. Well, what about community content, like community mods? Yeah, it's, don't expect that to be the saving grace here. The mod development for Squad has pretty much slowed down a lot. There's only really a handful of it that's actively being worked on. Like, there's one full conversion mod, which is Escalation, which is Galactic Contention, I'm sorry, which is the Star Wars mod, but that's... You got, the French faction, and then got some other stuff. It's just, it's really it. You only got a handful of mods that are constantly being updated out there. A lot of the modders, including, the mod teams, have expressed their frustration with me on how modding for Squad is pretty much an uphill battle. They have little to no help with creating these mods. And since the updates to Squad and the SDK can break the SDK and the mods itself, it's literally... It's disheartening. It's like you're literally going on an uphill battle trying to get this mod on. Even if it does come out, a future update of Squad can break the mod, which in turn you have to go back, try to get it fixed up, try to get it patched up, re-release it. And some of these modders just don't do it. They just left it entirely, In the end, I've been in love with Squad ever since the days that it was still a mod for Battlefield 2 with Project Reality. It has given, a lot of great memories, a lot of great moments, playing with friends, making new ones. And I'm really happy for the opportunities that OWI has given upon me with being one of the Squad partners out there, meeting with other fellow content creators, OWI staff, and more. But I'm just afraid that Squad is really going off the rails here, and it's becoming more of a shell of its former self, which in turn, part of the community is just basically going to pack its bags and move on to another game out there. I watched Moy Dogs and Karma Cut's videos, and they pointed out a lot of really good things of hey, we're really afraid of what's going to become to Squad here. Overall, I don't know what the future holds for Squad. My guess is we're just going to have to wait and see, but that's in itself is just really, disconcerting, So that's all we have. That's all we have going for right now is we're just going to have to wait and see. But overall, thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you guys liked it, hit that like button and subscribe to my content out there. Also, post down the comment of what do you guys think about the future of Squad will hold. What do you guys think about the microtransactions? What do you guys like to see as far as content goes? But are you guys too afraid of what Squad might become? A shell of its former self? Post it right down there Above all else, keep being awesome out there, keep being safe. This is Geeky Panda here. I'm out. Stay geeky, my friends.